pseudo-intellectual, pseudoscience, fake news. These are weapons of your enemy. Pseudoscience. Well, what do you mean? The people who say that one theory is different from an established theory, they are pseudoscientists? No, they're real scientists looking at how the world works and trying to evaluate for themselves and substantiate what's really happening around them. Now, if you don't buy what you've been taught at an academic level, at a media level, peer pressure, social network level, then you're ostracized and you are demonized, and you have these darts. They're not even shields like that people are placing up. It is darts of the enemy that is saying that because you are using your brain, you are an enemy of the establishment. Now, what the fuck? Pardon my language, but shouldn't we all quest to actually be foundationalized upon what we understand about our surroundings? Shouldn't our perceptions be grounded in as much study as we choose as an individual? Now, if I come outside of the box and I come up with a different theory, that doesn't mean I'm an evil person. That just means I'm trying to optimize my understanding of reality and apply now-oriented, subjective and objective opinions, and then evaluate them the only way I can, which is within my mind, within my soul, within my will. You cannot come into me and say that my thought processes are fake because I'm coming up with alternative theories. Well, we would have never advanced past the first tribe. We would have never grown as a species if that was the way we approach things. We must encourage people to think outside of the box. Most of the innovations that have taken place in all of what we would consider, what we've at least been taught as human history, have been from those who think outside the box. And think about how many times the church has murdered people, calling them heretics and blasphemers because they thought outside the box. Why is it that we are on this kick of social justice warriors who really just want to kind of look at how you say something rather than what it is that you're saying? Now, this to me is a very difficult way to modulate truth now, because if I communicate what's really on my mind, then I'm offending someone. I need to put a trigger warning out or something. This is getting out of control. Look, there is no fake news. First of all opinions are subject to the individual telling you that. So if a person runs to you and says, oh, there's a fire, there's a fire. Well, if this guy's run to you 10 times before and said there's a fire, you're going to think to yourself about it. But if it's a person you know and trust, and they come say, and you run to where the fire is. You must judge a tree by their fruits. This is where I'm having a problem. If I say, okay, here is an apple tree, for here is the apple. Look at the fruit. Partake in the fruit. See how wonderful the texture of the apple, how flavorful, and even how effervescent its palatable flavor is, that tells you it is an apple. Now, if I tell you that, but you think it's an orange tree, you're going to label me a heretic because I just called it an apple tree. You see what I'm saying? We must be open to others' interpretations of what is going on in this world if we're ever to get a more true collective understanding. Now, if we have people at the top of a pyramid telling us all how to think, and we just come in line with that, then those at the top of the pyramid can steer us around relatively well. But if we take water to those who are in the top of the pyramid from the base, um, and we are able to see the very many different layers of the pyramid as we ascend, and say we're on the outside of the pyramid, we get to see a growing view of the surroundings. So, for example, I'm a happy worker working around the base of the pyramid, giving water to the hard workers who are building and doing different things around the base. And there's a different spirit. Now, you see the taskmasters, but they all have their role, and we're all producing something, we're all doing something. But as I raise my level of awareness, walking up the pyramid towards the top to take the water to those who are at the top, I begin to realize the encampment, the fences, the towers, the guards, the priest. Those who are shepherding the crowds to enslave their productivity, till I get to the very top and share the water with the one who is wielding this mass force. His perspective at the top of the pyramid gives him the objective view and the ability then to wield that view over those who are not able to see this point of view. Now, I'm talking to you who are in the masses, who are enslaved, who can't think outside of your box, who think that everything is about how it is said instead of about what it is said. Now, if I come to you in alarm and I say, you're running off a cliff, you're going to yell at me and say that I'm being too forceful, that I'm being too loud, as you will run off the cliff. So let's start evaluating content rather than mystiques and propaganda around the content. Let's be able to look at all points of view with a rational evaluation and make those, understandings for ourselves. Because I think that we're finding out as we come into the exponential movement of awareness that's taking place planetarily, that we're going to see all of our base level understandings completely restructured. Now, some of them may be grounded in truths, but I do believe that we must have a centralized kingship and a centralized priestship of our own selves, have our own relationship with deity, and have our own responsibility for our own actions and respect that in others. We must internalize our authorities, because people, we have been deceived. We are being deceived. We were born into deception. We have been utilized as human resources, and we are under attack. And if you say you can't question what you've been taught, or you're going to look silly, or you can't question the media narrative, or you're going to be deemed a bigot or a racist or a sexist, a misogynist or a homophobe, or any number of Saul Alinsky's rules for radicals. If you realize that we are literally under attack by a type of social Marxism, we gotta raise up against it and think for ourselves, and think for each other, and be aware that, if we understand just very little, but we understand that, that we can stand together against their lies. They have built an alternative reality, a reality on top of another reality. And we have been subject to it and not been able to have even time to think for ourselves. Someone was talking to me about schooling, and I said, would you voluntarily put yourself in prison for 12 years? Think about it.